So today I'm going to talk briefly about how I draw twisted forms and how it helps me draw twisting torsos. And I say briefly because there's really only one visual trick that I think about when drawing twisting forms, but personally it does the job for me quite well. So with that said, this is how I draw twisting forms. So really the one thing that I think about is actually maybe two things, but it's the same concept essentially. And that is that I like to just imagine as if a torso is like a piece of paper. And what this does for me is that when I start to bend and twist this flat plane, it very clearly helps me see both the front of the plane and the back of it. And the 2D-ness of this really accentuates these two planes for me, literally because any way that I draw a sheet of paper, there will only be two planes for me to work with. Now, when it comes to translating this into a 3D form, I always just think about a simple box like this. And the reason why literally just a box is so helpful for me is because when I start to twist the box, suddenly now there are three planes that become visible, which are the front, the back, and the side planes. And that side plane for me really is the key to drawing a twisting 3D form. Even when I just bend the box over, having all three planes clearly visible really goes a long way in being able to visualize how a torso might twist and bend in a similar way. Now, speaking of torsos, here we have just the torso of a figure, and the way that I like to split this up into three clear sections begins with the abs. Now, a really easy way to remember where the belly/abs are located on any figure is simply by keeping in mind where the arc of the rib cage is. And looking at this diagram of a rib cage, this is the arc of the rib cage, and the abs will sit literally within that arc like this. So if we draw out a simple representation of a rib cage, this is that arc, and the abs will sit right within that arc. So for me on a torso like this, I generally like to use this point on the lower chest to draw the abs because at that same point is where the split between the external oblique and the serratus anterior is located. So from that point, I like to just draw a line down to this point like this, and this gives me the three planes that I pay attention to the most when drawing the torso. The red being the abs, the yellow being the external oblique or just the side of the body in general, and the blue being a mix of the serratus anterior and the lats, since the serratus anterior is kind of placed onto the area like this, but personally I like to just think of that blue section as the lats. From the back of the body we have the center line that runs down the back, and at the bottom of that line is where the sacrum triangle is located, which is at the top of the butt. And from these 2 points, I like to draw just a big triangle like this that represents kind of just the entire back of the body. At those same points, I'll draw a C-curve like this, and from there I just draw the side of the body as it connects to that C-curve. Now you can go straight down like this, and I guess that would be fine, but personally I like to indicate the curvature of the ribs before going down to that C-curve. And this is how I'd split the body from this angle, just one big section for the back and another big section for the side of the body essentially, which is in yellow. So when I'm drawing a body that's twisting a bit, I like to just keep in mind that 3-section split, and it always helps me when trying to remember where each section sits on the body by dumbing it all down to just 3 dividends like this. And if it were a box, it'd probably look something like this, and now even with this box, just with those 2 planes being visible, it's still enough information to be able to make out how I can draw a torso using just this box. So again, now with this example, I take this lower corner of the chest to this point near the hip and just connect the 2 points. Then remembering that C-curve on the sacrum triangle at the top of the butt, I basically just take the C-curve and place it like this as it goes across from the back to the front of the body. Then here at the armpit is where the lat is going to connect, so I just come down and draw a line from the armpit down as it connects into the side of the body, and this is my 3-section split. And if this pose was a box, it would look something like this, with the center line being right here. And with that, that's going to do it for today's video. I wouldn't mind coming back to this topic actually with other kinds of tips that I may find useful as I continue to practice, because I know that this can be a rather difficult topic to tackle. Now, for a quick announcement before I go, my new book, Dynamic Figure Drawing Volume 1, is now available digitally over at my website at emiliodecare.com. 100 pages containing over 200 unique poses that I've drawn over the years. I'll leave a link in the description if you're interested in supporting me there. Pre-orders for the physical version of the book are set to go live at my website emiliodecare.com on October 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Only 200 copies will be available and will ship within the US only, so if you live in the US and are interested in a physical copy of my new book, make sure to mark your calendars for October 19th at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time at emiliodecare.com. If you like this video, consider hitting the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. And as always, I'd like to thank my patrons for all of their support. And before I get out of here, I'd like to thank you as well for watching, and I'll talk to you again as soon as I can.